Hi, Sid. Good and you.
Good, man. All right, my first question to you is please tell me your journey to becoming a private pilot. And you recently told me that you do aircraft sales. Tell me about that.
Yes, so I've currently got my private pilot's license, and I'm working towards my commercial and airline transport pilot's license. So it's been
Mhm.
quite an up and down journey, especially for me. Had quite a few interesting opportunities, and they turned out in some
Mhm.
very interesting ways. Um, but basically, this has been um, my plan since pretty much the end of high school, around grade 11, grade 12 time.
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
so how it works to get your private pilot's license, you do about 10 exams and you do
Wow.
50 hours of flight time. So the
Huh.
pass mark, 75%, and that is also for CPL and ATPL. Your pass mark for all your theoretical exams is 75%. Um, so you need to earn 50 hours to get your PPL, 200 for your
Mhm.
CPL, and then 1,000 for your ATPL. So I'm in the process of doing my exams for CPL and finishing off the last few hours for CPL as well. And then the difference between the two PPL and CPL is that for
Hmm.
a PPL, you can't charge for your service of flying, but for your CPL, you can charge
Oh.
for your service of flying. So that's the main license that you want to get, because that's the one that lets you properly work, really. Um, so yeah, so that's the process that I'm doing at this current point in time. Um, there's been quite a few interesting things. I've been through three flight schools now. First one had some internal issues and closed down. Second one wasn't
Oh.
happy with, and then now I've currently changed over to Starlight Aviation, and I've really been enjoying it. It's been great. We fly some really cool aircraft. It's called the Sling. Um,
Mhm.
yeah, it's absolutely great.
Oh, what about the aircraft sales? How did you get into that?
So So that's something that I've recently gotten into. So I've been attending the South African Aero Expo, um, and we have companies from all over the world, especially Airbus and other European companies that come for the expo, because that's where that's more of the business orientated expo. It's not like the flight, sorry, not the like the air shows. Air shows is all about pleasing the crowd and everything,
Mm. Mm.
that kind of stuff. So you'll have like the aerobatics companies that come through and, military and stuff, and they'll all do air shows and everything. This is more of a fully business orientated expo. And so from the first time I went, I started meeting people in these industries for example, Absolute Aviation. They are one of the biggest chartering companies and aircraft sales companies in Africa itself, and they're based here in South Africa. So I ended up meeting two of the salespeople, and I ended up meeting the CEO, which was very cool. Um, also got to meet people from EasyJet,
Mhm.
ExecuJet, and quite a few other companies. And everybody was very cool, very polite, very eager to make connections and to network. And so I started, talking, liaising with them back and forward, and I know a couple of people who were looking to buy aircraft or who were looking to get into chartering aircraft and using that as their mode of transport for business. So, because of all of that, I decided to properly go full on into it. So, at the moment, I don't fully work for any of them. I'm just like a freelance um, consultant, really. So, I
Oh,
have
okay.
proper relationships with all of them. So if there's an aircraft at Absolute, I contact my guy at Absolute, and then we work on the deal from there and so forth. Um, that's something that I really want to get more and more into because your lifespan as a pilot is very limited.
Mm.
Fair enough, you can go all the way till the age of 65 if
Wow.
you're like really, really fit. The health thing is the most important thing. If you're really, really fit at 65, then cool, yeah, you
Mm.
can make it till then. But there's always that possibility that that you'll have like some small um, health issue that unfortunately won't make you the best candidate anymore, really. And that's what it's about at the end of the day to these airlines. You've got to be the best candidate. Um, so it's kind of like my fallback option and my side business, really. So that's what I'm trying to get more and more into.
So, who are the people that you look up to in the spaces that you're in now?
That's a good question. It's tough because you have friends in the industry at all different ages.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'd say some of my previous flight instructors, one of them, one who's now working in Singapore, he's flying
Oh,
caravans
okay.
in Singapore. He was definitely one of my role models.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Honestly, I struggle to find specific people because it's more so that you have an airline that you want to work for or a company that you aspire to work for, not so much one actual person. And the cool thing is, everybody, no matter that age gap, everybody is treats each other like equals. Because at the end of the day, we're all pilots. We're all going after the same jobs, regardless of age. Um, so yeah, it's more so that there's specific companies that I'd like to work for rather than specific people that I idolize.
So, what have been your highs thus far?
Well, each time you earn the license, that's definitely a high. Um, Getting my PPL was an awesome experience. Um, I'd say being able to see the entire country from a totally new perspective, um, seeing how much of gorgeous landscape we actually have, experiencing it in that way, and even like going to places like Drakensberg, but normally you drive to Drakensberg, and now you're flying, and you're flying over all this gorgeous mountain, you're flying over all these lakes and rivers, and you land in a place called Dragon's Peak, really, and it's this awesome like mountainous area, and it's just a one way in, one way out, and it can be a bit nerve-wracking at first, but it's a massive space, so there's plenty of space to go and land, and you know, excuse me, and then come out again. So that's been great. I'm planning some trips down the coast all the way to Cape Town. The good thing about my aircraft is that we fly at Starlight is that you have 8 hours of endurance, so you can fly
Oh,
for almost 8 hours straight. But because of laws and stuff, you don't always do that full 8 hours, and also you'll get very tired doing a full 8 hour flight. Um, but yeah, I think that's been quite great. Also, getting into the industry, the aviation industry, meeting these people from all over the world, um, getting to experience a lot of these companies and what they do, like a lot of the charter companies, like I said, Absolute, ExecuJet, um, those kind of companies. It's really great, especially if you're a very technical person. Like I'm quite technically inclined. I like to know how the things work. I like to know the mechanics behind the aircraft. And when you go to all of these expos, everybody is so excited and ready to like tell you exactly how everything works, how their machine is, different to the next person's. I met another company. I can't find the name at the moment, but it's a local company, African company based in I think Port Elizabeth, I want to say
okay.
somewhere down that side, and they build an aircraft basically for bush flying and for anti-poaching, which is something I've always been interested in. And the propeller is made out of carbon fiber, lots of parts are made out of carbon fiber, and they make the carbon fiber themselves. So you can order it with like your initials painted into it and in any color that you want. So on display, they had this aircraft in a stunning royal blue, and all the carbon fiber bits were tinted in royal blue, and they had some writing on it of the company's name in silver. Awesome, awesome plane.
So any lows you've gone through?
Yes, that's the thing. You can often go through highs and lows. I'd say a low for me would have been when I first started my journey. I first started my training. I was with a school called Durban Aviation Center, and I had gotten a bursary from JL Dubé Institute,
Mm-hmm.
and things were going great at first. So what they had done was it was 10 kids from in the flight school, and then they brought 40 kids from outside, from impoverished areas. And they had claimed to have gotten funding from Canadian Airlines and I think it was Ethiopian Airlines. And they were going to fund us all the way through to our airline licenses. So we were all really happy. But unfortunately, that whole thing quickly turned quite sour. Um, to make a long story short, on that one was basically people inside jail Dube swindled the money and everything just disappeared. Um, the flight school actually ended up having to be shut down because the blame game was going back and forth, and the owner didn't want to deal with it, so he just shut the whole thing down. To this day as well, we never got to properly see our contracts. We never got any sort of formal written confirmation or anything, and it was quite a big one for me because they had us on TV, they had us in the newspaper, they had a whole launch on SABC, they had us all up there, and it just completely went under the rug. After
Sheesh.
that, you never heard from it again. Nobody knew about it. Nobody knew this even happened. Nothing. Um, so I'd say that would be the worst low. The other low would have been during like COVID time, but there's nothing you can really do about that.
Yeah.
I would say that would be the main one.
Okay. So, what are your plans for the rest of this year and beyond?
So for the rest of this year, exam centers are closed soon, so I won't be writing any exams. I'll definitely be doing quite a bit of flying this summer because the weather looks great. I'm going to finish up some of those hours, and then yeah, just keep studying to finish off those exams. See if anybody wants to buy a plane. um, yeah, just pushing towards that commercial license and that airline license. Um, so yeah, looking out for opportunities as well, I guess.
Okay. Lastly, any words of inspiration for people that want to become a private pilot and anything else apart from that?
I'd say if you want to get into this industry, you have to have a passion for it. It's not the type of industry where um, you can just get in and get out as you please. Um, with the stakes being so high. Now, this is more so from a career perspective. With the stakes being so high, the margins being quite slim. I mean, a 75% pass mark for all of your exams is no easy feat,
Yeah. Yeah.
um, especially since all of your work is self-study. There's no lecturers, you know,
Oh.
so you're basically on your own. Yeah, the entire way through, you're on your own. There are services like question banks and things where you have practice questions that you can do, but when it comes to learning the work, learning the theory, you're on your own. That's all self-study. There's no set times. It's really the complete opposite um, of university, and it gets tough. It gets really tough. But if you've got that passion for it, you'll make it through. You got to keep pushing through the downs. Um, you might get lucky. You might not have many downs, which is great. I always hope that other people don't have any downs.
Of
Um,
course.
but it's very rewarding each time you get to each step. It's very rewarding because you did it. You know, nobody nobody passed you. Nobody like there were no change of rules that made it easier for you to get there. You did it all yourself. You got yourself there. Especially when it comes to physically flying the planes. Um, you only pass if you are good enough. So that's something I always remind people to celebrate early on, because I've noticed a lot of students doing their PPLs and they go solo and they don't really get as excited as they should because they only feel like earning that license is it. That's the only thing you celebrate. But no, going solo is a big achievement because now basically everybody's saying that you are now responsible we deem you responsible enough to um, fly that plane, be in charge of your life, and be in charge
Hmm.
of whoever else is on that plane with you. And then the same thing going to PPL and then going into CPL. Every small step when you complete each bit of training, it's worth it to celebrate it all because it's fun and you've done it. You've done it yourself.
Yeah, I just want to confirm. So with these exams and are they multiple choice? It's all written.
They are multiple choice. They're all done on computers.
Oh,
So
nice.
you can do it either in at the SACAA head office in Midrand, or you can do it at
Okay.
outstations throughout the country. It's a good thing and it's a bad thing because a lot of the exams are not straightforward questions. A lot of them are
Okay.
calculation based. A lot of them
Oh.
are graph based. But now it's a big graph. There's lots of working out.
Hmm.
But if
Hmm.
you're not getting marks for working, so you're either getting all the marks or you're getting none of the marks. So one
Okay.
question can be worth like 8%. So if you get, for example, flight planning as one of the subjects, that's a lot of graphs. And
Okay.
each of those graphs are worth like 4 marks. So it translates to like eight, roughly like 8% per graph. So you get
Hmm.
like three graphs wrong, 4 graphs wrong. That's it. You failed the
Yeah.
exam.
Yeah.
And even if you, there is another problem in the exams. There can be errors in the exams.
Okay.
Um, because the CAA is not part of the Department of Education,
Hmm.
the questions and the exams are not moderated to the same degree as
Okay.
a normal university. That's the errors that's some of the issues that I've found and the difficulties that I've found with the exams is that there's errors in questions, there's errors in
Hmm.
answers,
Hmm.
um, and there's not much you can really do about it.
But then when you mentioned about question banks, I mean, do they also provide you the answers as well so that you know that when you're preparing, you can always check if you are acing those
Yeah,
questions?
so it will come questions and answers. Those are
Oh,
obviously
that's
not the
nice.
exact, those are
Of
not the
course.
exact questions from the exam. They're similar
Of course.
questions.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
uh, yeah, they'll have the answer and they'll even sometimes have a working out. So they'll
Nice.
show you how they work it out and you can see, is my method, better or is their method
Mhm.
better? Is this the step where I'm going wrong?
Yeah.
So they are very, very helpful. Very, very
Hmm.
helpful.
Okay. All I got to say is thank you so much for your time. It was nice to finally have you on because I know I've asked you in the past. So yeah, hopefully we can
Yeah,
catch up
I've
more in the.
been quite busy.
Yeah. 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 No, but I look forward to catching you up in the future and
Yeah,
also with your
definitely.
promotions. Also with your promotion, I
Yeah.
think you are planning some stuff like that. So let me know. We'll catch up soon.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, I'm planning to make some more official stuff. Planning to start my own page and everything. So yeah, definitely.